Hi, welcome to my channel. It's an interesting day today, right? So I just recorded my 5-minute frequency tune-up, and many beings came in. The Palladians came in, the Assyrian High Council came in, and Mother Mary came in. So that will go out on Friday morning at 7:30 a.m. UK time on my YouTube channel. So make sure you like and subscribe so that you don't miss that going out, because what the guides were working with was grief. No surprise there, right? That grief is actually the subject. So when I spoke to the guides this morning, I said, well, what do you want me to talk about? And they said that they wanted me to talk about the fact that our grief of today is never about today. Well, it might be triggered today, but it's actually not today's grief. And of course, being a specialist in trauma, I know that, and I know that, our experiences in childhood, the things that we've experienced, hold with us until we actually accept them and release them. Okay. But what's happening in the world right now, and specifically today on the 19th of September, I'm just getting my channel up to see if anyone comes live. I can actually say hi to you. Hi, everybody joining me live. What's happening today in the UK is actually the Queen Elizabeth's funeral. Now, however you feel about the Queen, whatever you feel, is your experience. But what has happened definitely in the world is the incredible opportunity to heal old grief. And the way that, that happens is that when we see something or we experience something that appears to be outside of us, then actually what's actually happening is it's actually within us if we have a response to it or we have a reaction to it. This is the same as, in relationships, that relationships show us aspects of ourselves that we need to heal if we get triggered by them. Okay, so today what I felt was really important to talk about, and we will do some healing work as well, is to release perhaps a line of grief that we might be holding within our hearts. And also at the end of this video, I was guided to place anybody that's watching this or watches it afterwards or shares it with anyone, actually to be in the chamber, the Galactic Crystal Healing Chamber of Grief. Now, what that chamber will be is an opportunity for you to step in and release timelines and lifetimes and experiences of grief. And many people that have been in this chamber, all my chambers are on my website, susankennard.co.uk, but many people that have been in this chamber have actually said to me that they felt a huge amount more peace, and it has also allowed them to heal parts of themselves that they didn't actually even realize were held there in their physical body, but also within their true experience of living a human life. So they've noticed that, things that they felt sad about before, actually they didn't feel sad about anymore. And that is because it gives you the opportunity to be released from the frequency of grief. And the galactic chambers are very much around, ancestral grief lineage, past lives, our chakra system as well, where we hold it, childhood grief, etc. So it might be interesting for you to place yourself in there, and definitely wait till the end of the video to stay with me, because then you can be placed in it live if you happen to be live today. But it's equally as powerful if you're listening to it on the replay. So let's just set a beautiful frequency here and come into our hearts. And let's just breathe into our hearts and just come into that silence for a moment. And just breathe normally. And start to feel, a presence of Do you hold a bit of grief in your heart? Are you starting to remember things that came up for you? You know, perhaps the loss of an animal, or a parent, or somebody that might have passed over in the last couple of years, suddenly with a dis-ease, or accidents, or whatever it might be. Now, this video is not so we dwell on it. This video is just so that we can acknowledge it, and we can bring acceptance, and we can actually release some of that today. All right. So I just want you to come into your heart and just feel where that energy might be in your body. And just feel where that might be. Okay. And then I want you to imagine a beautiful crystalline star under your feet. And that is your Earth star. Good. Just breathe down into the earth and connect with your Earth star under your feet. And then just imagine that above your head, you can see another beautiful star, and this is your soul star. So now take a really deep breath, breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Good. And let's invite in all of the angels and guides to be around you. Okay, good. So I want you now, if you're not having your eyes closed, to just close your eyes and just feel that sense of presence, okay? And I want you just to think about something that has brought up some grief for you. It could be about the Queen, which may have reminded you of your grandmother or something, but just what's coming up for you right now. Could be a memory of, you know, an animal that you lost when you were a child. Animals are incredible for helping us heal old grief and opening our hearts as well. Okay. And so just have a sense of that, and just know that that is there for you so that you can just acknowledge it. And what decision did you make about that? What decision did you make about that event? And then what decision did you make about you regarding that event? And then the aspect of that is, well, that was then, and this is actually now. We're in this now moment. And it might be time to just kind of let that go now and move into a new timeline. Because when we hold on to grief and other emotions, but when we hold on to grief, we're actually holding on to a frequency which actually dulls our light. So let's just bring acceptance to what happened. Maybe you were a child, maybe you were older. And I want you just to imagine that you can create a beautiful ball of sparkling light where you are sitting now with me. And imagine that that beautiful sparkling ball of light was just being placed over that memory. I'm just being guided with this, okay? So it's what the guides are giving me. Thank you. They're saying to transmute this frequency. So just imagine it was going over that memory in your mind. Maybe you can see it. Just imagine you can. And then watch as that memory just transmutes and dissolves. And have a look at what you can see now. Maybe you can just see light. And just imagine that light where that memory was. And even if you can't see anything, don't feel anything, whatever it is, know that acceptance has been brought to that. And then I want you just to imagine that that ball of light that you placed over that scene, that memory, that you can transform that into a rainbow light. And as that rainbow light is transformed, I want you to bring that into your heart. Just imagine that beautiful rainbow ball of sparkling light in your heart. Remember to breathe, and breathe a really deep breath. And as you breathe out, imagine that rainbow light going throughout the whole of your body. Just be there with that expansion. Because as you're expanding, the guides are talking, and I'll tell you what they're saying in a moment. But as you're expanding, that light is going out to the whole universe. So everybody today, or whenever you listen to this, that's feeling a sense of grief or sadness, can feel that beautiful rainbow light from you. And maybe you can just feel a little bit better, a bit more hopeful. The guides are saying to me, so just stay in that presence, but the guides are saying to me that, in fact, this is Jeshua, interestingly, is saying that the opportunity to, thank you, releasing grief, he's saying, is the opportunity to expand our consciousness, to expand our light, and to help us to realize that remembering, thank you, remembering just a bit more about who we are and what our reason for being here is. And we were never meant to hold on to these emotions. We were always meant to just allow them to pass through. And so what he's saying is that doing this exercise with bringing the light, shining on that particular memory event, we're allowing ourselves to accept that that actually happened, but we're transmuting it into light. And as we bring that into our actual physical body, our crystalline field, our heart, our soul, we're expanding that out as a new frequency. And so we no longer stay in this frequency of sadness and grief. We come into a frequency of transformation. And so as we're walking that frequency of transformation, we're able to walk more steadily towards our mission. Okay. And he says our message to share with the world, of course. So the invite here I'm hearing is to come into our hearts. So let me just hear. So just come into your heart, and I just want you to ask the question within your heart. What am I meant to share with the world? What am I meant to share with the world? And just listen. Okay, just listen to what you got. Let me just see if anyone is here live, just to see what you're saying. Hi, Dan. Hi, Kim. If you're watching, just type in the chat what message you got, and I will read them. And as I'm reading them, because there's a tiny time delay on YouTube and Zoom, and we're just going to place everybody into the Galactic Crystal Healing Chamber. So just bear with me a second. And I want you just to imagine that you're wearing a really beautiful white dress or robe. And just as you're wearing that white dress and robe, you're ready to step into the Galactic Healing Chamber of Grief. And just imagine that you have angel wings around you. And I want you to imagine that as you are guided and you step into, it's a beautiful, like crystal, almost like a cave, but it's light, it's bright. And there are many beds there, and they are crystal healing beds. And you'll know exactly which one's your bed. I want you to walk over to it and lie down almost as if you were going to have a massage or a treatment. And I want you to be in surrender and trust as all the beings gather around to assist you in your own personal, specific, tailored healing. And they work with the thought forms first, and then the ancestral. They release shock, they release trauma, they release, they're telling me the patterns of thoughts that are creating your experience today. And you're going to be placed in this for a whole week from the moment that you listen to this. So if it's live, it's from a week from now. And if you're listening to the replay, it's a week from when you're listening to it right now. Okay? Okay, so it's invoked now. So notice how you feel, and if you feel this will really help someone else, normally you would pay to go into a chamber, but please share this with anyone that you feel really needs this grief chamber right now. And this is our gift to anybody, and they have to listen to it themselves. It has to be a free will. The only one that you can gift them is the universal love one, and you can go to my website to do that if you'd like to do it. But this one can be gifted and they can choose to listen to it. Okay, so they choose to listen to it, they'll be placed in the grief chamber. All right. Okay, so I'm just going to listen to your messages. Jen said, a message of hope and truth, wisdom, light, tones, healing and truth. Amazing. And Kim, a message of hope and truth. And Jen, wisdom, light, tones, healing and truth. So isn't that interesting how you both had something very similar around hope and light and truth, which, you know, is really who we are, right? And I feel, and this is a really strong feeling that I have as we're approaching the new moon in Libra, which is all about, it's on the 25th actually, of September, and I'm actually holding the new moon ceremony healing event on Friday. You can find out all about that on my newsletter, which you can find out all about if you go to my website, susankennard.co.uk. You can also get a free video course there if you click free gift as well. So the new moon in Libra is really about balance, and it's also about relationships. So it's about bringing harmony and new beginnings in relationships. So we're really looking at what is going on within the relationship to ourselves and how that reflects out to the relationship of us with others. Okay, so I feel like it's a really great opportunity to release this grief, to release this old emotion that perhaps is reflecting in our relationships. Maybe we're feeling the loss of a relationship. Maybe we're feeling the loss of what could have been. Whatever it might be for you, just you'll know what is being reflected in your relationships. So I just want to get my cards out. I've just been guided to do that and see what the guides. I'm feeling drawn to these ones, so I'm going to get these ones. I have many. These are the Rose Oracle cards. So I'm just going to see what messages the guides may be coming in with today. So let's have, I don't always do cards, but I fancy doing them today. Okay. So what do you want us to know? So I feel really strongly that we are going through an incredible transformation, expansion, transformation, obviously awakening, but I feel like it's going to be something really substantially amazing going to happen. I've got amazing things happening. My book's just about to come out, Awaken the Light Within Your Heart. Really exciting. It's going on an international book tour, which is even more exciting. So lots and lots of amazing stuff around transformation. But the transformation comes from within, and that doesn't ever stop. We just get really wise to what we're attracting into our world. That doesn't feel like a harmonious frequency. Okay, so let's have a look. Beautiful card. Yeah, so the Sun card, I don't know if you can see that. And the Sun card, it says joy, enjoyment, life force, success, vitality, and play. As I tune into this, I feel really strongly drawn to say that this is an incredible portal. So I don't know if you have a look at that. I can see it feels like, thank you, yeah. To me, and what I'm hearing from the guides is it's like a portal of light opening up for us. So I think around about this new moon, as we're coming up to this new moon, we're going to be doing some amazing manifesting and creating. So I really would love it if you join me on Friday, because I feel like this is going to be an opportunity for us to have definitely joy and fun and to manifest something incredible together. So it's Friday 9 p.m. UK online on Zoom. As soon as you sign up, it's £22. As soon as you sign up, you get the link, the Zoom link. I'm feeling really strongly this is a great time of manifesting, to put out what you choose to, thank you, bring into your heart. Lots of play, lots of vitality, but also lots of harmonious relationships. I feel like this is real key. And what they're saying is the harmony starts from within. Of course, we know that. Let's pull another one. Pre-order, yeah. So thank you for that, Jen. There is going to be a pre-order link for my book very soon. Just waiting for the publishers to get back to me. So there will be a pre-order link. I will definitely share it with you once I have it. Okay, so let's see. Okay. Held. Sureness of the soil, unseen help and support and community. Yeah, okay. So you may not be able to see this very well because it's quite pastel-y, but what I'm seeing is there's sort of almost like a person or a child or a baby there, and this beautiful beings are holding the energy of that. Yeah, it looks like somebody curled up in the fetal position. So the feeling is that we are really held. I definitely know that. You know, I've worked with my guides for over 25 years and knowingly, and I definitely feel really held. I feel really supported always. I always know that whatever comes up is there to show me something and I then release it. It's really, really important. And you know, one of the ways that I do that is by my community, and I have obviously my community here, but my soul family, which is called the Soul's Mission Membership, and we meet 5 times a month. And it is a place where we're able to come together and really support each other. And sometimes you can't speak about these things with your family, and you can't speak about these things with your friends necessarily. But in our community, it's a safe space where people can really receive healing, go, really step forward onto their mission, but also have a community where they can share how they feel. And I feel like that is really, really important for people right now. So support community is part of this card. And so if you're not in a community and you don't feel that you have people that you can share deep things from your heart and perhaps about your spiritual experiences, working with your guides, whatever it might be, then definitely pop over to my website where we have the Soul's Mission membership page, and you can have a read and you can see what you gain from being in the community and what I offer. It's a really good way as well to work with me one-to-one. So it's an opportunity where you can book one-to-one sessions at a really discounted rate. So my members always come first with things like that. So let's do one more card and then I'll leave it there. Just see. I generally love this deck. It's a beautiful deck, isn't it? It's Rebecca Campbell. Okay, what's this one? Codes of the Seeds. Yeah, beautiful. So my feeling about this was just basically saying the blueprint is within you. Take the next step. So what is your next step? Are you fully aligned to your mission? Are you feeling you want to share your message with the world and there's been something holding you back and now it feels like the right time? It's always the right time. It's, we can't really ever go wrong. It's just that we sometimes feel we've done the wrong thing, but it's never wrong. It's just taking us down one avenue. I know that when I was at school, which was a long time ago, I always wanted to be a social worker. And I was told at my secondary school, well, you have to have this, you have to have that, you have to do that. And so I went another way. But what happened was I went to college to work in childcare. But what happened is I ended up training as a psychologist, a psychotherapist, and I ended up working in child protection, but not as a social worker, but as a trauma specialist, working with drugs, alcohol, domestic abuse, etc., which then led me to work later on with veterans with PTSD, and my true specialism is working with early childhood trauma, past life trauma as well now, but early childhood trauma. So if I'd have gone and worked as a social worker, I probably would have done a very similar thing, but I was meant to go a different way, if that makes sense to you. So never think that you've gone down the wrong road. Always trust that that will always bring you to where you're meant to be. And so if you think, like maybe your loss that comes up is, oh, I wish I'd done that. I wish I'd actually stepped out. I wish I'd stepped out of the spiritual closet. I wish I'd done that course. I wish I'd, whatever. Then know that we're in the now. This is a now moment. And this is a time for you to say, well, there's never a now like now. And so now is when I'm going to do that. Yeah. I had the book within me for such a long time. And it wasn't until I was in San Diego and I was speaking on the stage at the New Media Summit the first time, September 2019. And I remember thinking, everyone here has a podcast, a book, and a course. Well, I had a course, but I didn't have a book and I didn't have a podcast. And I had no thoughts of having a podcast. But by the time 6 months came and I spoke on the stage again in San Diego in March 2020, just before Trump closed the borders, I came back. And between that time of September 19 to March 20, I channeled my book and I created a podcast called The Spiritual Awakener. And that's across all podcast platforms. And I also put it on here on my YouTube. So imagine what you can create like within 6 months. So I now have the book coming out, and that did take a bit longer, but I'd actually channeled it, the first draft, within those 6 months. And so, you have to think about like it's possible to do anything. If I can do it, you can do it. Yeah. And I hold a channeling class. We've already started now, but I hold a channeling class where you can either speak your message to the world, write your message to the world, or bring your healing to the world. And it's a 6-week program called Channeling Your Message to the World, right? And it is such a brilliant opportunity to focus your energy for 6 weeks. Maybe next time, if you want to do it, then keep a lookout on my newsletter, because I take a small group. I don't take a very big group because I like to work with you really, really closely. But it might be something you want to think about in the next block of 6 weeks. So I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for joining me live. If you're here live, thank you so much if you're listening to the replay. That would really help my channel. If you could like and subscribe, that would be fantastic. And share it with anyone you feel would really benefit from the words, but also from being placed in the chamber of grief. Okay, so much love for now, and I will see you soon. Don't forget to watch the 5-minute frequency tune up, where the Galactics come in and heal the frequency of old grief held within you from times before.